Tuesday night, we won 2 more votes for health care. I'm very proud of that because in both of those campaigns, health care was the issue.
And Speaker Pelosi is going to need every one of those votes when she gets the House health care bill on the floor this weekend.
2 more votes, it should be easy now, right? We can all go home. Top Line starts right now.
Hello and welcome to ABCNews.com's Top Line. I'm David Chalian.
And I'm Rick Klein.
Each weekday, we're bringing you the very latest political headlines, reporting, analysis, insight, everything you need and want to know about politics.
And it's twitter.com/TheNote if you want to talk about politics or talk about the New York Yankees, the world champion New York Yankees. Actual ice cream container from Yankee Stadium, the new stadium.
Congratulations, sir, to your World Series champs. Get us started with your top line.
Brewing unrest. Tea parties are back at the Capitol today on the east front of the U.S. Capitol. We're having maybe thousands of people. We don't know the exact number yet. They're showing up to protest the Democrats' health care plans. And what's interesting to me, once again, David, is we're getting a stark display of where the energy and the enthusiasm is. It's on this side. The House of Representatives is set to pass, we presume, on Saturday, a version of health care reform, but the crowds are against it.
No doubt about it. Tuesday, it made quite clear where all the energy is right now. Obama 2010. Yes, if you listen to David Axelrod interviews yesterday as he was trying to spin those election results from Tuesday night, he is clearly telling Democrats on Capitol Hill to embrace President Obama, run fully attached to President Obama. That is their only path to success. We heard a little bit of this from Chris Van Hollen as well, the chairman of the DCCC, Rick. And it is clear that they are not trying to localize these races in 2010. They believe that the only way they can excite their voters if it's nationalized and Obama is basically on the ballot again.
It's a bit of a strained argument now because they have to say that 2009 was not a national election in any way, but that 2010 will be. Clearly, the stakes are different. Congress is different than governor's races, but it is interesting to see that emerge as far out as it is right now. Saturday night's all right. That's when we're going to see a vote on the House health care legislation. Nancy Pelosi says she's going to get the votes when they come to the House floor, but how she gets them is going to be interesting, particularly in the wake of Tuesday's elections. If you are a moderate Democrat looking at where independents showed up in New Jersey and Virginia, you've got to be at least a little bit concerned about the fact that President Obama wasn't able to deliver those same voters who came out for him last year.
And when she was asked at her weekly press conference today if she had 218 votes to get a rule to get the bill to the floor in the House, her answer was not "we do," it was "we will." That was very key. And CRIST'S rewrite. Charlie Crist under the gun in Florida. He may experience a very, very tough primary here with Marco Rubio coming at him from his right, and largely because he campaigned on the stimulus bill, supported it, was with the president in Florida. And Rick, yesterday he gets out there and says, oh, no, he didn't endorse the stimulus. He just knew it was going to pass and he wanted Florida to get a piece. He stood with the president and championed the stimulus. This is crazy.
It's going to be difficult for him to explain. The photos are out there. They're already all over websites. And the Club for Growth, the conservative group, we talked to the president of the Club for Growth earlier this week, and they're very close to endorsing Rubio. It sounds like they're out with an ad attacking Charlie Crist on this particular issue already. This primary is until next September.
I like how he says they're not backing Rubio yet, but they're out there bashing right. Crist. We're going to begin with the big winner from Tuesday night's elections. He's the chairman of the Republican National Committee. Michael Steele joins us from RNC headquarters. Mr. Chairman, thank you for being here, sir.
Hey, Rick and David, good to see you, hear you.
Congratulations on your victory.
Yes. Thank you.
I do want to start. We were talking before, you may have heard us talking about the energy, enthusiasm, clearly with conservatives right now. And I talk, though, about your challenge as party chairman to harness that energy to actually equal Republican. You know, right now, that energy is out there, but it sometimes is out there in an independent fashion, outside the party structure. How do you guys take that and actually equal that energy to Republican victory?
I just left a meeting talking about that very thing, and I want people to know that, you know, first and foremost, we still are and remain the conservative party of this country. And recognizing that, we know that there are a lot of people who are attracted to our message of fiscal conservatism and free markets and free enterprise and values of family and community. We get that. And the challenge now is you see the emergence of the 9/12 movement, the Tea Parties, and so forth, that we help them appreciate that we're with them. We're walking this walk with them. We're making the same arguments they're making about government intrusion into health care and the economy, stripping away our freedoms. And it is a very difficult walk because there are a lot of things to be ticked off about regardless of where you are, if you're a Republican or an independent conservative. And so my goal now is to make sure folks know that we're walking this walk with them. We want to partner as much as possible. I don't need you to identify as a Republican. I need you to identify as a conservative, because we are the conservative party, and we want to be relevant to this effort to stop Nancy Pelosi and this healthcare madness.
But as you know, I mean, conservative is not necessarily Republican. A lot of the folks that we see out there today, for example, at the Capitol, these are not necessarily people that say, I want a Republican candidate. They're angry at everybody. Exactly.
And the left wants to paint with a broad brush by, connecting conservatism and republicanism in a negative way. My job now is to make sure, particularly coming off of the heels of Tuesday night, for people to appreciate, no, you saw how that combination of conservatism and republicanism, when brought together, can be very powerful to create wins. And I think you can also see, though, when we screw it up and we get it wrong, as we did in New York 23, it can lead to a loss. And so working together is in our collective best interest here, not being divided the way a lot on the left and certainly in the media wants us to be.
I want to turn your attention, now that we're 48 hours past 2009 Election Day. Let's jump ahead to a year for a moment, to 2010. You may have seen David Axelrod's interviews yesterday from the White House, and he basically was saying, listen, Democrats learned Obama voters are not showing up. They need to be excited again, and the way to do that is passing Obama's agenda. And he basically said to the Democrats up on the Hill, if you want to win, you're going to need to run with Barack Obama. Do not run away from us. Does that mean you guys are going to be running against Barack Obama in 2010?
Yeah, we ran against Barack Obama in 2009 in a certain respect.
But you said it wasn't a referendum on him.
Well, wait a minute, hold up. But let me get this straight now. You have the president going into New Jersey 4 times? And you're going to then sit back after we kick your butt and say, well, no, this had nothing to do with the president? Then why was he there? And you can't sit back in the same time and say, the only reason we're losing is that because our base isn't excited. So pass this horrendous health care bill and that will excite them. They're not excited because they're fearful that you're going to pass this horrendous health care bill, because this is not the change that they voted for. They've missed that point. They really think that all of this talk about change was acquiescence to their agenda. Well, you didn't tell us what your agenda was, because if you told us you were going to nationalize healthcare the way you are, that you were going to take over car companies and banks the way you have, people would not have bought that. So don't get in front of the White House lawn and give me this sort of disingenuous, oh, well, no, 09 isn't about the president. 2010 is going to be about passing our agenda, and that way people will be excited again. They're not excited because they're fearful of what it is you want to pass.
So if, in your words, you kick the president's butt in 09, what happens in 2010?
Well, in 2010, we've got to work hard. We've got to stay consistent. We've got to have a message. The party can't run around expecting success to come from Democrat failures. We've got to have boots on the ground. We've got to have a message that resonates with people, and that's what's important to learn from Christie and McDonnell, is that they took their conservative principles, they translated them in a 21st century way to deal with the economy, to deal with healthcare, to deal with transportation. People understood where they were coming from, they respected them, and they voted for them.
Do you expect then that even conservative candidates running next year are going to de-emphasize the social issues the way McDonnell and Christie sort of de-emphasize that a little bit?
I would say to conservative candidates running, wherever they are running from, talk to the people about what they want to talk about. Don't foist your views on social issues if they're not talking about social issues on them. Don't foist your views on the economy if they're not talking about the economy on them. Talk to them about what they want you to talk about, because that's why they're electing you. They understand you're a conservative. They understand. People in Virginia knew that Bob McDonnell was elected the Attorney General, for good's sake. It was no secret that the man was pro-life.
Clearly.
I mean, so where's the issue here? He talked to them about the economy, jobs, education, transportation, and that made the difference for the voters. While Craig Deeds was trying to beat the Bush drum, trying to beat the social conservative Bush, drum, and people were like, deafening noise. We don't want to hear that.
So does that mean in your mind it's okay to have 2010 candidates who, for example, supported the president's stimulus package, support the health care push, even though that's not where the party stands?
Well, I'm going to tell you honestly, that's where the line gets a little bit tricky. And you saw in the House and in the Senate that there are ramifications, because that goes against the core principle. And trust me, you're assuming that people want to have bloated debt, government expenditures, and growth into their lives. They don't. That's a talking point out of the DNC. People don't buy in that. So candidates who live in moderate to slightly liberal districts have got to walk a little bit carefully here, because you do not want to put yourself in a position where you're crossing that line on conservative principles, fiscal principles, because we'll come after you. You're gonna find yourself in a very tough hole if you're arguing for the president's stimulus plan or Nancy Pelosi's health plan. There's no justification for growing the size of government the way this administration and this Congress wants to do it.
RNC Chairman Michael Steele, congratulations again, sir, on your victories, and thank you very much for being here today.
You got it, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.